Hello up bags, it's Jade. Welcome to a special DayZ video today, taking a look at everything wrong with DayZ. Don't worry, this isn't going to be too much of a rant. I really just want to be pretty clear and concise about the situation with DayZ and why their new Livonia paid DLC map that got announced a couple of days ago is really a bit of a kick in the teeth. So straight away though, let's crack on with some news that you really probably want to hear. The update for Xbox and PlayStation 1.5 is now not going to be coming to October. I did predict the end of September, as that would have been 4 weeks after it came out on PC. It's looking likely it's going to take even longer. Probably, I reckon, about mid-October, judging by what they've said. They've not even put it into review, and the review won't go in until next week. So if you're expecting the update that adds new weapons, the new vehicle, and of course climbing and jumping, you're not going to be able to see that until October time. So, as I said, I want to be clear and concise. I have recorded this a bunch of times and I ended up going off the deep end a few. So, let's keep it short and brief. DayZ paid DLC. Whatever you think about DayZ, good, bad, indifferent, it definitely needs some fresh content. The game has been around for 6 years and people have seen the same amount of content on YouTube and streams for that amount of time. So even if you've only just picked up DayZ for recently on PlayStation or the Xbox, chances are you pretty much know the map pretty well, so a fresh brand new map is a great idea. Release date wise, Xbox actually tweeted and said it was going to be coming out on the 13th of November. However, no one else in DayZ land has actually confirmed that or put that anywhere else. Alongside the DLC, they are also planning to get advanced health system in place, but they're not actually going to be adding the complex medical injury gameplay, i.e. broken legs, etc. In fact, if you're looking for that sort of stuff, it may never actually come, as their word in here is they're still struggling to fully explain the complexity of the existing system to the majority of players. Moving forward, we're working on a nice balance between authenticity and accessibility. They've stated new content and guns, cars, but interestingly, they've stated they need to work on the rest of their goals before they can commit to any more vehicles or guns coming also. Modding support for PC and stable base building, a part of this is a matter of balancing, as it's one of our key objectives for the year. All in all, it's a far big removed update plan from what they stressed at the beginning of DayZ coming out of early access. And even going back just a few months ago, they'd stated much more was going to be coming. I asked you guys what you thought about the map and whether or not you'd be buying it. 3,100 of you voted and 60% have said no, you will not be buying the DLC, with only 9% saying yes. Now, judging by my quick maths, 2 plus 2, no is about 1,600 people or more have said they're not going to buy the DLC, and maybe only 100 to 200 people have actually said they're going to buy the DLC. There are people that are waiting, depending on the price and depending on the state of the game. All in all though, even if you took these two as to mean yes, there are still far more people that are currently saying they're not going to buy the DLC. Why is that? Why are we not wrapping our heads around getting an amazing brand new experience, a new map, new content in the form of bears, and lots of brand new assets and stuff that hopefully will be coming to the rest of the base game too? Well, it's because Bohemia are a little bit cash grabby. In fact, they're not just a little bit, they are one of the worst developers I've seen. Publishers, maybe, if that's the right word, for literally ripping off their player base. Now, before the fanboys start defending and disagreeing, let's just go through a couple quick points. DayZ at final release was $50. Now, that's nearly close to AAA price point. And what do you get with that? You get an online only experience with no way to play the game offline or in single player mode. As of November last year, DayZ had sold 4 million units on PC, and various reports saying that at the same time they'd sold over 500,000 copies of the game on Xbox in only a short space of 4 or 5 months. The way that the PlayStation sells nearly 2 to 3 times as many as consoles as Xbox, I don't think it's out the realms of possibility to state that PlayStation DayZ has probably sold around 1.5 million, maybe close to 2 million copies of the game. You might think that's quite a lot in a short space of time, but remember the hype around DayZ on PlayStation was absolutely phenomenal. Players couldn't get on the servers, and when you actually went on the servers to count how many servers were full, it definitely was into the many thousands. My point being, they've made a lot of money off of console. In the last year alone, they've certainly recouped any of the costs that it took to get the game onto console, bearing in mind all their work is done in-house, with the port team being part of their umbrella company. I say this because I've seen a lot of YouTubers defend DAYZ. I've seen it a lot in the comments saying that this company needs to have DLC. It's the only way this poor little company can keep DAYZ going. I call absolute bullshit. Any game that sells 4 million copies on Steam, any game that we can roughly say sells around 2.5 million copies on console, shouldn't need to be shifting out DLC. At least not when the game is in such a terrible state. You guys know I'm pretty hot on talking about cheating and people abusing systems like duping in games like Ark and DAYZ. It's a problem that lots of companies have, but DAYZ seem even worse than others in terms of trying to fix it. It's been going around for at least 10 months on Xbox, and if you have a little bit of a delve, you can clearly see it's starting to work on a PlayStation 2. The devs have been pretty non-committal about this, stating that when they wiped the servers a little while ago and reduced server hopping, that duping would be fixed by then, or they hope to fix the biggest methods. A few weeks ago they put out this tiny little statement saying that they knew of the concerns, particularly on console, about bugs and issues including night vision goggles not working and headlights, and also the duping situation. There are so many more problems than that. Desync, lag, huge horrendous issues when you're driving a car or vehicle, can't pick up ammo and items. The last update actually broke the game further than it was. They didn't commit to a specific date, but they said that they're working hard on the 1.5 release as well. They also mentioned that base building is pretty pointless at the moment. It can take literally hours and hours to get a base built, yet only a few minutes for someone to come and demolish it and get in. So the point I'm trying to prove here is DAYZ's got a lot of problems and a lot of issues. Take an example of Ark, which I do a lot because they are pretty much in the same sort of space as massively multiplayer survival game. For sure, Wildcard, the developers of that game, are pretty dodgy themselves, releasing paid DLC while in early access, doubling the price of the game when it came to full launch, and umpteenth times releasing late DLC and just really poor communication. Alongside that though, why they have 16 million players playing Ark, while it's still the second most popular survival game after Rust on Steam, and while they're getting into their third year of DLC with their season pass, their next Genesis one, it's because they do offer actual compelling, good gameplay. They also offer free stuff to their player base too. During the early access, they produced 2 free maps for the players. And these 2 free maps weren't just simple, slight copies of what they already had. They were made by modders, created, and then ported over by the Wildcard team. You can transfer all your dinosaurs, all your items, and it pretty much opened up Ark and just had everyone playing the game much longer. In fact, if you ask a lot of people, their favourite maps aren't the paid maps that they also introduced, it's the free content that they prefer. Overall, free maps and free paid maps have appeared on Ark Survival Evolved. This is the biggest problem I've got with DAYZ. It's only been 3 months since it came out on PlayStation or so, only 5 months since it came out fully on Xbox, and not even a year that it's come out on PC. The game took 6 years to get in a finished state, yet they're already asking for us to pay for a map when the game is still so functionally broken. So let's address the other big one that I see from comments. You don't like it, don't play it. Well, that's the big issue. Of course we like it, hence why I'm doing a video on it, you morons. You can like a game, you can absolutely love a game, but you can also hate what the devs do at times. DAYZ did pretty alright for me. My first Let's Play of the PS4 got 320,000 views nearly as of right now. Over the course of the last 18 months when I first started giving you news about DAYZ coming to Xbox and PS4, it's been one of my best contents for views. But I've pretty much stopped playing it in the last 3 weeks because I'm just so sick and tired of the game being broken and buggy. At one point I was even defending DAYZ when I first heard about it coming, when it was appearing on Xbox and PlayStation. I delved into the history of DAYZ and saw all the problems that were caused by the lead creator deciding not to work with Bohemia anymore. Rightly or wrongly, whatever the reasons were, that put a massive kink in DAYZ's development. I also saw that they realised their engine wasn't on par with what everything else was around them, and they couldn't really keep going forward with the engine they'd based DAYZ on, which was the Arma 2 engine. And so it does take time to redo that, and throughout all that period they probably had some of the worst communication going, umpteenth times letting PC players know of updates and stuff that was coming that would actually not be coming. It would be late, inconsistent, or cancelled or changed at the last moment. It was only when Eugene, the big lead developer that really took over and really started pushing things forward, got involved more, that we started to see better results from DAYZ. They made a really unpopular decision to scale lots of things back while they toyed around with their new engine. And so nearly 2 years ago was when they did that, and it took about a year to get it right on PC, with updates coming, adding features that were back in the game from old days. But there's still so much content missing. This same developer also was the one that was responsible for making sure the ports went through smoothly, and he pretty much made sure and was the lead for making sure it came to Xbox and the PlayStation. Where is he now? He quit. He's actually working on Dying Light 2 now, and there was actually a big change in personnel. Lots of people actually quit Bohemia. I like to think it's because they saw the plans that Bohemia had in place, and they also realised that Bohemia just don't care about this game. And they really should. It's probably their biggest selling game they have now across all platforms. Arma 3 may have sold 6.5 million copies, and you take into account how many some of the sequels before that or prequels. Sure, it's sold a lot over the last 10 years. But DAYZ, considering how little development time has gone into it, how much effort has been put into the game, has absolutely outsold and outdone itself. So when you've got the lead producer deciding that he's had enough and he's going to work for another company, you really have to think, is Bohemia doing everything they can? Or are they just a cash-grabbing, soulless company? And this isn't just my opinion. If you actually take a look at reviews based on console versions of the game, it's got worse scores than Fallout 76, worse than Anthem. It is objectively a terrible port of a game very much still not full release status. So why do mugs like me still play it? Why do you guys still watch content and play it as well? Because there aren't that many experiences like DAYZ still out there. Even on PC there's a few games like Scum and others that have tried to take place, but they still haven't really captured that survival aspect. Xbox and PlayStation have really only got Ark and Conan as multiplayer games. There is nothing like DAYZ, and that's so important to recognise. That's why DAYZ is so popular still, with so many problems. Also, the amount of years it took to come out, the way it wasn't available on console, it built up this expectation and hype that generated that people just really wanted to try this game out. So I'm hoping these people now have seen the light and seen how crap and shit DAYZ is. I want the game to be better. I want it to be so much better. I want the devs to start acting better and the publishing company to start doing better. I've not even got into the specifics of Livonia actually being a recycled map from Arma 3. A brand new DLC appeared for Arma 3 called Contact, cost around £20 to £30. And so we're not even getting a fresh made map exclusively for DAYZ, we're getting something that's already been used in another game. How scummy is this company going to be? When servers were announced for console, that was huge news. Until now, only Ark and Conan have really capitalised on this. And it's hugely popular. I'm a partner with Nitrado, and for sure I thought I was going to have so much fun on my servers. But you can do absolutely F all on your servers because Bohemia won't release the files. Nothing to do with Nitrado. Bohemia won't let you even have admin commands on your own server. The options that you can change are nighttime, third person, and that's pretty much it. Now PC isn't much better, but the devs have stated they're not going to plan to introduce any admin commands. Now despite popular opinion, Bohemia do not make any direct money from the Nitrado sales. There's no percentage given. I know this for a fact from talking to the Wildcard Ark devs and the Conan Exiles devs and the Nitrado themselves. The way they operate is the same they do for developers and people. If you want a server, you have to pay them money because it's their equipment, their items. So developers have to pay these server providers to keep their servers going. Likewise, when we rent a server, we're paying the server developer. But in a way, it does save Bohemia money if we're all out there running our own private servers. It means they don't have to keep as many official servers going. I reported on this a good few weeks ago as well. With the game only being out a couple of months on the PlayStation, they'd already decided to shut down a huge amount of the servers. It was pretty much a knee-jerk reaction. Yes, there were lots of servers around, but most of them were 10 slots. People really want to play DAYZ as a survival game sometimes and not as a kill-on-sight game, and so they spent a lot of money on achieving that. Eventually though, I reckon people will go back to official, and they may not have much choice in servers because Bohemia decided to shut them down. And why? Because they literally could just save some money. The fact that you can't do anything with your servers is an absolute piss take as well. I've not even spoken about the idea that consoles are never going to get mods. We're never going to get anything really fun and exciting that you can see on PC. Because that is definitely not happening. They're not going to bring mods to console. So by now you're hopefully getting a sense of why I've labelled this video everything wrong with DAYZ. I did go off in the deep end, and I did go off shouting and ranting, and I did go off maybe explaining it all just a little bit too long. Hence why I've re-recorded this the next day, hence why it's a bit late. It's why the Livonia map is such a kick in the teeth. But it's not the only DLC that they're really trying to push. You may have seen they started off a Battle Royale DLC. They would not commit whether or not it was paid or unpaid. They wanted to see what reaction they got from the fans. The game mode is meant to be coming to Xbox and PlayStation in the future as well. But clearly you can put here, is Survivor Games DLC free? It's currently not set in stone. You can try it for free for now if you own a copy of DAYZ, but that's about all they'd say. According to the moderator, he has said publicly on YouTube comment that he's privy to more information and they are not going to be doing it as paid DLC. I still find it a bit hard to believe. Regardless if it's paid or not paid, it's still taken some development time to get this Battle Royale mode running. And it may end up being a good free addition, and it does mean that we've got another game mode hopefully coming to DayZ. But with the state of DayZ at the moment, surely these developers would have been better put to use working on the main game. That's the biggest other problem with DayZ. I've mentioned it before with the lead creator departing and many other people leaving. They clearly have replaced them, but they maybe not replaced them as well as they should have. And as once more, DayZ is not the priority for Bohemia. In short, Livonia should have been free. It should have been a thank you for the years of support that PC players have given this game. The umpteenth chances that players have come back time and time again to play. For the longest time, DayZ was absolutely dead, but it came back and it hit a resurgence. But people were starting to really see the bullshit that's starting to happen again. And without the creators, the people that actually put DayZ back into a good spot, I feel like DayZ is just going in a downward trajectory once more. More delays, less content promised coming, working on extra ways to monetize and fleece their customers. DayZ and Bohemia is one of the biggest cash grabs ever. So that's why I'm probably not going to cover it much more on my channel. It would take something significant improvement for me to really come back to DayZ. Updates on console being actually updates that don't further break the game, and some way that they can actually reward the player base that really put their time, effort into the game over the years. There are different ways to monetize your content. Rust sell skins for guns, and that's it. That's probably the best way if you want to sustain your business. Bringing out a map that is recycled from another game, charging for it once more, yet the game runs like absolute garbage. You can't change or do anything with your own servers. In its defense, I have heard it say they're looking to keep working and adding content. They are going to add some more server options for us. But when is that actually going to happen? That's the kind of stuff that needs to be here first, and then we'll buy whatever DLC you want. So anyone who's working at Bohemia or working on DayZ, don't take it personal. I realise that some of the developers are doing the best they can, and it's not up to them, these are business decisions. It's always the big wigs up above, but for absolutely sure you should be banging the drum and talking to the higher ups in trying to get some goodwill back in this game. Don't just view the short-term money you'll make, because they will. Despite my little poll, lots of people will carry on buying this. They feel they have to because their friends are going to be playing on servers, and even if you play on official, you're going to be on dead servers on Chernarus because everyone else is going to be on the paid DLC. So that hopefully puts to bed any idea again that you don't have to buy the DLC. You kind of do. If you want to play DayZ, the experience that has moderately full servers, or you want to play with your friends, you have to buy the DLC. Change your mind, or make it a token price. Sell the map for £1 or $1. Do something out of the ordinary to really put yourself in the spotlight as a developer trying to do right by their players. Can you imagine the PR it will generate if DayZ said they're going to sell their new map for just $1? Even at a push, they could absolutely make millions if they did that. And then go ahead and start selling cosmetics if you really want to. Give us more maps to pay for in the future that cost more, $5, $10, whatever it is. But get the base game right. Listen to the feedback. Treat all of your platforms the same and stop being such money grabbing bastards. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Best in survival game news, information, guides, tutorials is what I do, but I won't be doing it on DayZ until I see some improvements.